Carl, unbeknownst to other people, we've just had like a bit more of a darker tone in conversation, recording something for yourself. So I thought,
yes,
maybe we can do something that's like a little bit more lighthearted for conversation
Walking Dead's more lighthearted.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing. I don't know whether your episode's going to be out or not by the time, but we did talk about The Walking Dead, so if it's not out, look forward to that. But yeah, I just thought maybe let's talk about something a bit less just oppressive and depressive.
Okay.
And just lighten up the mood a little bit.
What are we talking about then?
Well, Carl, we are talking about the TV show Old Enough.
Which I am not familiar with, so tell me about it.
I believe you are, because I'm pretty sure you're the one who told me about this show. So, Old Enough is a Japanese show.
It's the one about like Japanese kids doing like errands for the first time.
It is, yeah. And
I forgot what it was called. Oh, that show's adorable.
The translated, roughly, like, literal interpretation is My First Errand. And it's just a Japanese reality TV show where you just see little episodes of kids going on their first errand.
And the show is incredibly wholesome, but at the same time, it'd be so anxiety-inducing, because I was that kid when I was younger, and my mum say, okay, go to the shop and get some milk. And it's like, have you ever seen like a 4-year-old carry milk? It's not great.
It reminds me of some of the episodes where like the kids literally get sent out to either get things that they struggle to carry back home, or they accidentally like get too much.
It's like when you watch animal documentaries, and Joe was like, that famous one of that lizard that's like 1 second old and just its world turns to snake.
Yeah.
And you just find yourself thinking like, you must feel so bad as a cameraman not being able to help that lizard. So do you think the cameraman are like, should we help this kid? It's like, no, it's the only way they'll learn.
There's literally times where you see the cameraman struggle to like not say something because they're meant to just kind of, you know, they're always disguised as like workers on the street and things like that to just, oh, you know, we're electricians, don't worry about us. Yeah, there are times where just the kids either get lost or struggle to carry things, and you can tell like some of the cameramen are just like, please no, let us help these children.
It's also that when you think about it like that, right, it's really out of context, super scary of just these men following these children. Like, let's do the job.
It is kind of wild because a lot of these kids are like 4 or 5 years old. They're like can be very young, and it's really weird that the kids don't notice that these electricians are sprinting past them every like 30 seconds to get another good shot of them walking up the street.
So go on, tell me, like, how did such a show come to exist, Lucas? And don't just say Japan.
That's the thing, right? It's a Japanese reality TV show that's aired since 1991 on Nippon television, and the program depicts, in a documentary manner, the effort of toddlers going on an errand on their own, buying groceries, delivering packages, and, you know, they're accompanied by a camera crew who film the whole thing. And the program has been distributed internationally since 2022 on Netflix, where that's, you know, how you watched it and then told me about it, and I then went and watched it because I was like, dear God, that sounds adorable.
Yeah, it's like my ex-girlfriend was Japanese and she told me about the show. I'm like, that can't be a thing that exists. There can't be a show where it's like, I was expecting though, like almost Takeshi's Castle-esque commentary on the version we got of like, is this going to be like 30 minutes of like kids eating shit and dropping like their errands, or like just dropping their pocket money down the drain or something like that?
And most of the time it isn't, but I do remember just really struggling to watch the one episode where the kids gotta get the food up the hill and keeps dropping it. The mum is at like the top of the hill, just like, you can do it, come on, you can do it, and this kid's like just struggling. I do feel sorry for the camera crew and the parents and stuff when it's essentially, you know, obviously they've all been told, no, the show doesn't work if you help them. You've kind of just got to let go.
We can't interrupt the reality of a show.
Yeah, and I think there are a couple of times where, like, in our Netflix version, you know, we didn't get all of the backlog, but there's a select amount of episodes. And I remember a couple of times where the kids just ask the camera crew for help in terms of, well, they just think they're another person on the street. I'm asking an adult for help. They don't specifically know they're part of the cast or anything.
You know, in that vein, Lucas, like, what do you remember running any errands as a kid? I do remember when I got asked to go to a shop as a little kid on my bike to get some milk, and as a kid you don't know about weight distribution, so I put like the 2 litres of milk on one of my handles, and as soon as I started going down a hill, which is like my entire handle, I flung around and the milk smashed on the floor, and I get all the way home and I'm crying, and I give my mum like the half battered milk, and she just gives me a quid and says, go get another one. And it's like, god damn it, just on Sisyphus over here.
That reminds me, I think, of like one of the episodes where I think they go and get like half of the ingredients, and they find it like this quite difficult experience. Get all the way home and like, oh no, you didn't get it all. Can you go back out and get the last thing for me? And the kid's just like, oh no.
Yeah, it's a rough one, right? Do you ever have any experiences like that?
Don't know if I did. I don't know if I was like trusted enough, apparently, because I can't think of times where I got like actually trusted to go out and get anything. But you know, small child Lucas was too feral. Just he'd go lost.
I still remember, like, this is a great story with my dad, where he used to like take the dog for a walk every evening. And he was like, no, it's to clear my head. I don't want anyone else to come with me. And it turns out he was going to the shop and buying a chomp and eating it at the shop and giving the dog a little bit of chomp. The only reason he didn't like to sell anyone else is he didn't want to get a chomp for 3 kids, because he knew if he went, he'd have to get chocolate from the kids. So my dad's like just sneaking out to get a chomp. It's like, damn it, Dad. Betrayal.
I got lost a lot as a kid, including in Disneyland. And like,
that must be rough, right?
I didn't remember much about the experience. All I can kind of vaguely remember, because I was like a toddler small. I was a little kid. Yeah. I remember we went into the like magic castle. I started just looking up at the wonder and the splendor and the colors, and everything was just, you know, oh my god, we're inside this cool magical castle. And then I looked back down and turn around, and my family is just no longer there. I didn't know what to do because I was such a small child, and I don't remember anything else. And I just got told, you were lost. Like, you were lost for a while, and then we just found you because there was a massive crowd of people just surrounding this crying child sat on a wall somewhere. The only reason they managed to find me was just because like there was a massive crowd of people just like, what do we do about this crying child?
I just imagine, was this French Disneyland?
It was, yeah, and I think the reason they struggled...
I'm just imagining they're all French of like, what do we do with Le Child?
Like,
Le Child, they probably thought it was performance art or something.
It's one of those things where in Disneyland, they sell ponchos, and they're like the one style of poncho, like every, you know, now and then that changes. It was raining, and everyone had ponchos on, so everyone looked the same. So that's why they were struggling to find me, because it was just a sea of yellow ponchos into how do we find our child.
He's gone. It's like, you know what? It's done. Leave him. He's Disney. He belongs to Disneyland now.
That's when I got adopted by Mickey.
I remember. I think I got lost as a kid as well, and it was in like Flamingo Land, so not quite as, as extravagant. But the reason I got lost is just because there was like I think I was watching one of the rides go around, with my brother on it, and I tried to follow it. Because I wasn't old enough to go, so I tried to follow it around and just ran around the theme park and just like my parents like, where did Carl go? And they eventually just waited and I came all the way back around. He's like, oh, there he is.
Then they just found Carl crying in a corner in a yellow poncho surrounded by French people.
Well, it's like the other time I was like, when I was in London when I was like 11 years old. Like, I didn't realise that the London Tube doesn't fuck around.
Yeah.
So my dad got off the tube, turned around, and I'm just still on the tube, and the door's just shut. And I just looked in and I don't know what to do. And my dad is like banging on the glass. I'm like, get off at the next stop, but I can't hear him.
Yeah.
And because it's London, no one gives a fuck.
Yep.
So everyone who watched it just watched it, what happened, went, you should probably get off at the next stop. And I'm like 11. And to the next stop, my dad came, like, so there's a train every 5 minutes. But just remember, like, I mean, imagine if my dad's perspective just, doo.
I'll see you soon, okay?
In London, generally, no one gives a fuck.
No one cares.
A new life experience for Carl.
Oh, you belong to the trains now.
And that's one of the things that just I find so lovely about watching Old Enough is most people are just super friendly and helpful because apparently it is kind of like a bit of a tradition as far as the show describes it of just in Japan often they'll send kids out to do errands and stuff and they trust the community and just it's kind of a moment when you send your kid out on their own errand for the first time, hence why the show was made in the first place.
The reason they could never make this show in England, especially out the north of England, it'd be like sending your 7-year-old out to do a cigarette run.
Then no one would be helpful. Everyone would just be annoyed by this child on their own. So,
try to count out the money.
Where's the parent to do this?
I just remember, like, when I was a little kid being sent to a corner shop, and it's just like, I've got a note from my mum, and they just handed me a packet of cigarettes. So they just don't give a fuck. Or like, going and getting like beer for my dad or whatever. It's like, just here's a note of, like, they know that you're going in, because they know a 7-year-old's not going in to buy like 4 pints of beer.
Carl was just very confident at a young age.
Yeah, I went through the most puberty.
Generally on the show, everyone is super helpful for these kids, and it's just really nice to see most of the time the kids roughly know what they're doing and they get sent on relatively easy tasks, but the moment they do come across an obstacle, everyone's always so willing to help them.
I still think, though, they should like make it like Takeshi and start putting down like fake obstacles. Like, Joe, when you hear about the story of like how Shigeru Miyamoto came up with the idea of chain chomps, and it's just there was a big scary dog that was on a chain in a garden, he had to walk past the school. They start adding in stuff like that.
Just one day, there's 3 chained up dogs.
Have you ever heard there's that like that game show idea that everyone's like, you need to make this, and it is, you need to get, it's a little kid and you need to offer him like $7 in like toys and like snacks and stuff, and a check for $150,000, and they've got to pick which one they want as their parents watch from the other room. Just to see.
That's the thing is, obviously kids have very little concept of the actual value of money.
Yeah.
So it's so funny when you always see, like, when you ask kids, what would you do with £500? And some kids I'd buy like 3 packets of crisps. Yeah. And then other kids are like, well, I'd buy a mansion and a helicopter. Done.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
I would buy a flat screen TV.
That's it?
And a mansion.
I've been every now and then vocal about the fact that I'm not a particularly big fan of children, but that's kind of the beauty of the essence of this show, is that it's just seeing the cute interactions that kids can have.
It's a dangerous thing to watch with a girlfriend, because it's just weaponizing their broodiness, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess so. The thing is, most of the kids are so well behaved and cute on that show that you do just go, well, I could handle that. That's cute and adorable. And then you forget that that's 10 minutes of their life while they're being cute and adorable, and you've got actual responsibilities to deal with on either side of that.
Oh, man, it reminds me of a story a friend of mine told me. It's probably one of the funniest things I've ever heard, where he was like 16, 17, he was like watching TV at his girlfriend's house. And like, an advert came on for like Huggies or something like that.
Right.
And he just nudged his girlfriend and went, oh, I can't wait for ours to be like that, can you? And the parents went, what? He went, have you not told him yet? And she wasn't pregnant, but he just thought it'd be funny. And the parents threw him out. And he's like, no, I'm joking. It was a joke. It was a bad joke. They threw him out of the house and asked him, was it worth it? And it was worth it. It was very funny.
That's the thing. He thought it was a good idea. It was not.
It was not. His girlfriend didn't speak to him for a week.
Oh, God. So to move on from that, the show was a segment of the information program. I don't know how to pronounce this word because it's Japanese, so apologies for any pronunciations, but Suseki, I don't know, which translates roughly to The Chase. And not The Chase like the TV show with Bradley Walsh.
Imagine if like these tiny Japanese children were like walking down the street and the Beast from The Chase came in, started quizzing them.
I mean, that's
all like 8 foot of him.
Maybe it was The Chase, and just every now and then, instead of like Bradley Walsh presenting, it's just, oh, here's a cutaway to a kid being adorable for 5 minutes.
The random segments on variety television sometimes do make you laugh, right?
Yeah.
Any examples like in your head? 'Cause I remember like Dick and Dom in the Bungalow. Just 2 men on the most amount of cocaine you've ever seen. Like 2 absolute just cokeheads doing morning television. And just like wonky donkey. And it's just 2 adults just screaming at a child of like, wonky donkey! Wonky, it's not donkey! It's not...
The classic that just ruined school for years with bogies.
Bogey. Oh, no, it was Dick and Dom did bogies and Ant and Dec did wonky donkey.
I've got a donkey here, he's gone a wonky. He's a donkey who was wonky. He's a wonky donkey. You've got to tell us the animal and what situation he is.
Right, I remember Dick and Dom for bogies, yeah.
Because Ant and Dec are from like Liverpool, right? So I always remember him going like, why I man?
They're Geordie. They're not Liverpool. You literally did a Geordie accent as you said that as well.
I'm bad with accents. Because the thing I'm bad with accents, but I just remember because I can hear his accent as saying, why are you on about, man? Because that's the one thing I know Ant and Dec from. Also the episode of like Grange Hill where Dec gets shot in the eyes by a paintball gun. He's like, my eyes, man! And then it was bogies. Ant and Dec doing it. So that sums up British kids, right? Just screaming the word bogies in a library, and Lucas explained bogies to people because it's actually a really fun game.
It's funny, but obviously the entire purpose of bogies is to piss off everybody else around you. Yeah,
like Dick and Dom in the Bungalow was basically just a variety show, which just. Do you want your kids to be hyper at 7 o'clock on a Saturday? They ask parents with a hangover. The answer to which is no. Oh, we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And Bogies is a game they play that got very popular with kids, which involves doing what?
It would normally be, a battle between 2 people, because Dick and Dom were 2 people, so that's usually how people played it, of just one person starts off by quietly saying bogies. And normally, they'll start with like a little whisper of just like, bogies. And then the aim of the game is to just say bogies louder than they said bogies.
But without anyone knowing that you said it. That's the gimmick, because otherwise you could just yell. Like, the gimmick is people aren't allowed to know that you're the one who said it. And they somehow allowed this to air on television, aimed at children. The week after this segment aired, it's just all you'd hear randomly in school. It's just, bogies!
Bogies! That was a brave bogey. It's a 4.2. And the crowd getting to their feet delighted.
What was like the worst thing then that went around your school was like a